Welcome back to the series, Discovering Metal Bands from Other Countries. This is Chile, Part 2. In the series, I take recommendations from you guys and I dive deep into the metal scene of a specific country. In Part 1, we explored some incredible Chilean bands, and now, based on your recommendations from that video and others, we're back for Part 2. Chile has one of the most passionate and diverse metal scenes in South America. In today's video, we're going to cover everything from technical power metal to brutal death metal, from socially conscious thrash to experimental horror-infused madness, even atmospheric doom that rivals the best of the world. Before we begin, I want to hear from you. Give me some more recommendations from Chilean metal bands in the comments below. I'm looking for underground bands or newer acts or anything. I add them to a list, and I'm going to keep making these videos as I get more recommendations. Let me get into it. Starting off with Six Magics, one of the most important power and symphonic metal bands to come out of Chile. Formed in 1996 in Santiago, Six Magics became one of Chile's biggest exports in the power and progressive metal world. Over the years, they evolved from epic mythological storytelling into a more modern, darker, and technical sound. The album I listened to was Falling Angels, released in 2012. This was their fifth full-length album and represents the peak of their modern revolution. It was released internationally through Corona Records, which helped them expand into Europe and Japan. The opening track, Another Name, immediately grabbed my attention. It's fast-paced. It's a blend of heavy metal and power metal with gothic influences. The operatic female vocals were big and dramatic, giving the song a very cinematic feel. The title track, Falling Angels, has some excellent guitar riffs. I really like the guitar tone. The band moves smoothly from melodic passages to chugging modern rhythms. It shows their technical skill without losing the song structure. Then there's Do You Remember, which is softer and more atmospheric. This one leans towards modern pop with electronic elements. It's very catchy and adds variety to the album. Overall, I really enjoyed the album. It had variety, strong production, and impressive musicianship. Very good starting point for anyone exploring melodic Chilean metal. Next up is Execrator, a foundational pillar of Chilean extreme metal. Formed in 1992 in Santiago, Execrator emerged during a time when Chile was transitioning out of a military dictatorship. Their aggressive sound reflected social unrest and personal frustration. If you're looking for their essential album, it is Silent Murder from 1996. The album is a masterclass in dark atmospheric death metal with a slight thrashy edge. It's often mentioned alongside some of the most important South American extreme metal releases. Thematically, the album deals with blasphemy, darkness, and social decay. One key track is Symptom of Darkness. It reminded me a lot of 90s Sepultura, but with a sharper thrash influence. Has the early 90s groove, but darker. Hate Inside the Flesh is more mid-paced, built around heavy chugging guitars. It feels oppressive and heavy without relying purely on speed. Then there's Added Possessions, which included isolated vocals. That's not very common in death metal, and it gave the song a unique atmosphere. Overall, I thought it was another solid album. It balanced thrash, death metal, and groove in a very natural way. Now we move to a legendary name in Chilean metal, which is Necrosis. Formed in 1985 in Santiago, Necrosis were pioneers. They were one of the first Chilean bands to record a thrash metal LP, and even managed to record abroad in the 1980s, which was a huge achievement at the time. The album I listened to was Reborn from 2009. This release includes re-recordings of some of their 80s classics, but with a more aggressive death thrash approach. Title track Reborn reminded me of 80s Metallica, but with a vocalist that had a tone similar to John Bush. It's energetic, straightforward, and riff-driven. The Unreal leans more into melodic thrash. It has big riffs, cool pinch harmonics. The guitar work is tight and classic. Overall, the album doesn't try to reinvent the wheel. It sticks closely to the core thrash sound, but sometimes that's exactly what you want, a solid, straightforward thrash metal done well. I thought it was a very good album. Next up is Nuclear, one of the leaders of the new wave of Chilean thrash metal. Formed in 1995, originally under the name Execrator, Nuclear became known for their high-energy thrash combined with strong socio-political messages. Their lyrics focus on corruption, inequality, and systemic violence. The album I checked out was Heaven Denied from 2006, their debut under the Nuclear name. The album was rooted in thrash metal, but moves away from the retro trend of the early 2000s. You can hear influences from German thrash, mixed with the precision of 90s Testament. The Pain You Ask For has a classic thrash sound with a strong mid-paced rhythm. It's heavy, but controlled. Mind Insane starts with clean, arpeggiated guitar chords to build tension before moving into a slower thrash section. It reminded me a little of the Black Album era Metallica. What impressed me most was the production quality. For a debut album from the Chilean independent scene, it sounded very strong. Overall, it was one of my favorites on the list. It has speed, aggression, and melody in the right balance. Now we enter the weird and experimental side of Chilean metal with Dorso. Formed in 1984, Dorso is a cult band. They are unpredictable, eccentric, and impossible to categorize. The album Big Monsters Aventura from 1985 is a defining moment in their career. It mixes thrash, death metal, progressive rock, jazz fusion, and gore grind. The album is inspired by giant monster movies and low-budget sci-fi. It references Japanese kaiju icons like Godzilla, but with a uniquely Chilean twist. Title track is a mix of wild thrash and experimental metal. It's chaotic, but still structured. Gran Chango stood out to me because there's a balance between guitar and bass in the mix. And by the way, that means like a big ape. It feels fun, creative, and slightly insane in a good way. The album also uses horror movie samples to create a bizarre atmosphere between tracks. And overall, it was weird, not difficult to listen to. I had a lot of fun with this one. Now we get into something truly cutting edge with Demoniac. Demoniac comes from La Mache and has evolved from blackened thrash into a highly avant-garde force. The album I listened to was Nube, Negra, which means black cloud, and it came out in 2023. It's darker, more aggressive, lyrics entirely in Spanish. What makes the band unique is the use of unusual instruments. In previous albums, they used clarinet in long thrash compositions. On this album, they incorporate accordion along with spiraling technical riffs. Some key tracks include Marchageddon. It's a short instrumental under 2 minutes, intense and focused. Synthesis d'Accords, another instrumental. The only way I can describe it is like black metal mixed with progressive experimentation. I thought of like black metal and King Crimson, something like that. And this one also includes accordion. Then there's Granada, also has this spaghetti western vibe at times. The album's not easy to get into at first, but as you listen more, as it progresses, it grew on me. It's technical, aggressive, and very unique. I have two more. The next one is Old Tomorrows, a powerhouse in the modern progressive death metal scene. The sound is often compared to bands like Gojira, Meshuggah, and Opeth. The album I listened to was At the Shadow of the Andes from 2024, a fairly new album. The album is very dense, very technical, very modern, features gent-influenced rhythms and polyrhythms. It's definitely for fans of 8-string guitars. This position has a great balance between atmosphere and heaviness. Eternal Return leans more atmospheric, giving the album some breathing room. Ancient Spectres has a modern sound that reminded me slightly of the band Tool. Overall, very good album, brutal, technical, still melodic when it needs to be. I have one more band to talk about, and it's called Mar de Grises. So if you're interested in atmospheric and melancholic metal, the band is arguably the most important in Chilean history. The album I listened to was called Stream Inwards from 2010, released through Season of Mist, and that became their final studio album. But supposedly they reunited and they have been touring. They might have some new material later on. But anyway, this album mixes doom metal with death metal, progressive rock, and ambient textures. The music captures the sense of vast gray landscapes, It's not easy to get into at first. It's slow and dense, but as it progressed, it grew on me. Here's some key songs like Stormmaker, kind of reminds me of Paradise Lost, but with emotional depth. The Bell and the Solar Gust picks up the pace slightly, showing that not everything is super slow and heavy. Overall, very atmospheric, emotional, and layered. It requires some patience, unless you like this kind of thing, but definitely rewards careful listening. So that is all for discovering metal bands from other countries. Chile, part 2. Chile continues to prove it has one of the strongest and most diverse metal scenes in South America. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this playlist with all the episodes of the series. It should be appearing on your screen right now. Give me more recommendations, of course. And thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.